Welcome to Sweet Valley Diaries, where time is a grinding wheel of merciless pain. Book number 49, Playing for Keeps.
What's come over Jessica?
Did you say it, Andy?
I think I harmonized it so perfectly that you guys didn't even know that I said it.
Yeah, it was like right on the money.
I was like, oh, this is Aaron's voice now. I got it. I'm fine. We did it, if I think. Unless you can try one more time if we need to. Or do you want me to just say it?
Just do it by yourself. I don't know if the program will let you both talk at once.
Oh, interesting. What's come over Jessica?
Very nice. Well, hello. Welcome to Sweet Valley Diaries. I am your host, Marissa Flaxbart, of course. And with me this fine day are Andy and Aaron of the Gossip Guys podcast. Hi, guys.
What's going on?
Hello, Marissa. Thanks for having us.
You're so welcome. And what's going on is just a lot of I think it says on the back of this book, split personality. A lot of split personality stuff is happening.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about a really excellent book that I hope you guys enjoyed, Playing for Keeps, book number 49. I am curious, is this, for you guys, your first Sweet Valley High novel?
Yes, it is. And I'm very impressed that with book 49, I didn't need to have read anything before it. I was in.
Yes.
I'm so glad to hear it.
This is my first time, and it was just great. I dove right in.
This is honestly like a real winner, I have to say, this book. And I think, so hopefully it's clear to you guys and Gladiators, in case you forgot, it's been a few weeks, we took Thanksgiving off, that Jessica Wakefield is going through a bit of a thing where she's not quite acting like herself. And the book actually even starts with a fairly lengthy recap about Slam Book Fever, which is the title of book number 48, and how it swept Sweet Valley. Did that make any impression on you guys? Slam Book Fever?
I mean, that sounds like a very drama-filled book. I mean, there was like love triangles and all sorts, or like, I guess it was even like quadrangles, or there was a lot of different things going on. But it was I thought it was a great recap, and it makes perfect sense now you said it, that it was the previous book, and then that's how the end of the book sets up the next one. I didn't know that's how it worked when I first started. But yeah, I don't know. It gave me the whole thing, basically I knew the characters. I knew the cast.
Yeah, I didn't need to read 48 after that. Like, I totally get it all now. It all makes sense now.
It was a little bit of revisionist history. The book does suggest that Elizabeth at first thought that the books would just be harmless fun, but that's really not what happened. Elizabeth was sure.
That doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
No such fun as harmless.
Yeah. Ooh.
So no, that's great. That sounds like a t-shirt.
or a poem written by Jessica.
A poem, yes. Lots of poetry happening.
It's a lifestyle, yeah.
Oh, that sounds like not a really particularly exciting lifestyle, but I take your point.
Well, no, I think it means it's very exciting because all of his fun causes harm. It's a very...
At the very end.
There's strings attached to every fun thing that Aaron does.
Sure. So there's a good kind of exciting and a bad kind of exciting, and this is more of the bad kind.
Oh, and this gave me the bad kind of exciting. It was a great book.
Oh, yeah. There's always a part in these books where I want to put it down and stop because it's making me too tense. And that happened for sure in this book.
I got angry during this one.
Normally, we start by describing the cover of the book. But I actually am curious if you guys... Like, can you tell me a little bit about your sense of Elizabeth and Jessica from jumping into this book? The Wakefield twins?
I mean, obviously they're sort of the central characters, although it seems like, we get other people that get the central role in these books. But yeah, they're very popular, very beautiful blonde twins, and they're very different. It's really hard for me not to go straight to TV characters things. But I mean, Jessica seems like the Blair Waldorf bringing in, but basically the schemer, the manipulator, the mean girl, that's Jessica, maybe even a man-eater. Although we see a foil that might be, that times 2 later. And then yeah, Elizabeth seems like the nice girl in comparison, but like, the studious, the Joey Potter. I guess, yeah, Jen and Joey, but Jen's not really from Dawson's Creek.
Oh yeah.
It took 5 minutes to get into it. That's a new record. But yeah, it's just that the good, bad girl dynamic. And obviously they don't actually flip. I thought at some point that Jessica or Elizabeth was going to pretend to be Jessica, which I guess already happened in the Slam books. I didn't want to repeat that. She talked about it a couple times, but didn't actually do it.
Yeah. It was interesting when it came up.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that.
This book says on page 5, we learned that the Wakefield twins had tied in terms of how much they were written down as being most popular in people's slam books. And the book says, between them, they represented every exciting and lovable quality a 16-year-old could have.
Wow. Yeah. I wish I had just sort of quoted that with as my answer.
Well, you don't have to. That's what I'm here for.
That's true.
They made a good team. They were good sisters.
They were good.
Was a really good sister to Jessica in this. I'm not sure Jessica was good to Elizabeth at all.
She was trying to figure some stuff out. She had a lot going on in this book,
Well, yeah, she had a lot of issues.
She was trying to figure out who she was. She was trying to like a guy that she didn't really like. Obviously, I don't know if she really liked him.
No,
and then
she loved.
That's what she seems she did, but I think she was supposed to, because it was really just it was she was trying so hard to be someone else. Yeah. Is that really love?
Well, but obviously it's not, but AJ accepts her for who she is at the end, so maybe it is. I feel like
he accepts who she is, though. That he finally, because he liked her, he wanted to hang out with her. He didn't have the twins mixed up.
Well, no, exactly. I feel like.
I think was there a rumor in book 48 about the twins getting mixed up? Was that another book? Was that number 17?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that there is something that has happened. The twins kind of switching personalities is something that's happened in several of the books. What happened in book 48 was that Elizabeth was specifically with AJ Morgan. It was really kind of a coincidence. Jessica, and this is actually an important detail, I think, that hopefully the book gets across. Jessica, who is normally very flirtatious, very much man-eater, I think was something that came up. She is having a totally new feeling in the face of AJ Morgan. She can't talk when he's around. She can't think of anything to say. She just wants him to like her, and she doesn't know how to be. Meanwhile, Elizabeth in book 48 was trying to make her boyfriend jealous, and so decided to try being very flirtatious, and AJ Morgan was also the subject of that flirtation. So AJ specifically got the wrong idea about both of them. And Jessica is now kind of obsessed with the idea that AJ wants her to be more like her sister, really is.
Right, because he was
also
by the flirtatious nature of Elizabeth in 48.
Exactly. So it's further complicated by the fact that she wasn't putting on an act when she was like demure or whatever, shy around AJ. But when she sees how he reacts to it, the act begins.
Yeah, well, and it's sort of like, it does, I think, give some sort of license to that this is more than just the next guy on her checklist, because that is a reaction that she does not have often or ever, right? Is this the first time she's ever felt like that? Or is it every book where they're in love with someone? It's probably both. But that to me feels like, if you're nervous and excited and all those things and want to lie, that does mean, I think, that you really, really like that person. Whether or not you know that person is a different thing.
Right. And I think that there's a fair argument to be made in this book that Jessica, all of her like kind of scheming and hiding of her real personality to keep AJ is actually something, it's based on something that she just made up. Like, she never really took the time to get to know AJ and find out what he would really like. So
right.
We'll get there. Let's talk about the cover.
Okay, let's do it.
Speaking of AJ Morgan.
There he is. Yeah, he is a dreamboat.
Tall, he looks dark and
serious.
handsome.
Yeah,
They're
I
wearing
love
the
that
same
someone
color
named
sweater.
AJ is described as mysterious. Sorry, that's just hilarious to me. What do the initials stand for?
Oh, they actually say in book 48. I wonder if I can
Ooh,
find
that's
it.
the only mystery I have.
What do we think it is?
Anthony Jr.
Oh, nice. I was thinking I don't know. For some reason, I had Alex Jean, but that's not it at all. I don't know. Like that was.
Yeah. Boy Jean is usually spelled with a G.
Yeah.
I think it might be Adam Joseph.
Adam Joseph. No,
Yeah,
I can't
we
find
like
it in
AJ.
this
We like
book.
AJ better.
I don't like
Yeah. He's just moved to town from Atlanta. And yeah, the Jessica on the cover of this book, that's what Jessica really looks like. But in the book, she is described as always wearing her hair in a ponytail, which is typically a telltale sign that we're looking at Elizabeth. And actually, I have a little part of the book that I can read. At the very beginning of this book, everybody's at the beach hanging out, and Jessica sees AJ across the beach and is very relieved that she's wearing a conservative blue tank suit instead of one of her sexy string bikinis.
This is for teenagers?
It's for 12-year-olds.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it seemed very tawdry to me.
Yeah, very.
String bikini, I know.
I mean, wow. Okay. Please.
So early on in this book, well, I guess because I have two things that I want to read, and I think together they'll paint a picture pretty clearly of what's happening here at the outset. So I'm going to jump to a scene after they go to the beach and then they go to the library to study. Like, Jessica thinks that that's something that AJ will really like to do. Like,
why did she love him? She thinks he's the biggest wet blanket ever. I do think that's really funny.
Seems that way. So, and they get to the library and AJ reveals that he is hungry and was hoping that they could leave and go to the Dairy Burger. So they do. And when they get there, everybody is kind of expecting Jessica to act like Jessica, and Jessica is really trying to get them to treat her like the character that she's playing, this version of Jessica. So they sit down. Next to her, Lila spoke in a taunting, sarcastic voice, pitched low so only Jessica could hear. "How was studying, Jess?" she teased. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, and she shot a knowing look in AJ's direction. "Get much work done?" "Yes, I did," Jessica replied, gritting her teeth behind her smile. Turning back to AJ, she asked in a soft, lilting tone, "Do you think you could get me a Diet Coke?" He shoved his chair back immediately and rose to his feet with a nod. "Sure, I'll be right back." Jessica waited until he was safely out of earshot, then whirled around on her best friend. "You can be such a pain, Lila. Why don't you just back off?" "Why, what do you mean, Jess?" Lila cooed, imitating Jessica's own gentle Elizabeth tone. She took a long sip of diet soda through her straw and grinned devilishly at Jessica as she studied her clothes. Taking in the light blue Bermuda shorts and the polo shirt Jessica had borrowed from Elizabeth, she said, "It is Jessica, isn't it?"
Ooh.
That is our big clue early on, that Jessica is really putting on an act.
And it's not subtle to anyone except for, I guess, AJ, because AJ doesn't know her.
AJ is just not there. I don't know where AJ is, but he is not there. Like, he's just
poor guy.
He just does not know what's going on. Like, I don't know what to do with AJ. I really don't know.
He's the Nate. But yeah, like, I mean, I think he must have like really strong feelings for Jessica, or find her really, really attractive to sort of put up with this, or he's just really dumb, I guess. But
he's really dumb.
But is he dumb, or is he just kind of like clueless or aloof? Aloof is a very sexy thing to be in these books, so he might just be aloof.
If that's aloof, then no. I think clueless is closer. I feel like he's maybe the new kid, and he wants to be liked by everyone, so he's sort of being very vanilla. Yet somehow that is working for Jessica. But I guess they're the most vanilla, and they're not vanilla, but they're very, blonde American girls. So vanilla's a nice.
Yeah, they're strawberry,
Yeah.
They're not exciting. They're not like Zabaione. They're at the most, we're talking strawberry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sabayoni is a flavor of gelato, everybody.
Oh,
It's the primary flavor is marsala. That was just the first weird ice cream flavor that came to mind. So I don't know what that says about me, but I thought after I said it, I thought maybe I should explain what I'm talking about.
yeah, I assumed. I felt like AJ because I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, AJ, where am I? How did I get in this house? Like, your parents are never coming back, are they? Yeah, AJ. See, I think AJ, he either is dumb or he's plain dumb, because when we're gonna, he's perfect at it. Because when we're going to skip ahead a little bit and we're just going to go through AJ's character right now, because there's this part when he's in the house with Pamela Janson, and she offers him the jacuzzi. And he says, "Well, I'll have a soda." He's like hemming and hawing, like a teenager, like a kid. But the narration says he felt inside that he still owed, more to Jessica, than just like obviously just hooking up with this other girl. And so there are these feelings here that he's having, and that's one thing I liked about reading a teen drama, where you're like, oh, now I know their feelings, but they're not acting on them, because I guess because they're teenagers, they don't know how to. So
right, it's something you can get out of a book that like a TV show or a movie can't quite give you. I can't wait to get to that scene, because that is a hot scene. But
we'll get there.
And AJ is so hot under the collar during it. But before that, I mean, we get little glimpses of AJ maybe thinking that he kind of wants to laugh at Jessica or like tease her about something. And eventually, when we finally get around to getting our first glimpse of like AJ's inner monologue, we see that he feels like Jessica is being so serious all the time that he can't even tease her, because it's like she's just such a serious person, and all she cares about is volunteering and thinking about the world's problems, which is a really funny runner in this book.
Nuclear war.
There's more politics. Nuclear war and saving the whales. These are the kinds of things that they do together.
It was great.
They go to a Save the Whales club.
I loved it.
Yeah, and that actually makes sense why AJ wouldn't open up at all, because there's no entry. Like, he's just so afraid because she's so serious that he crack a joke. He can't be himself.
Like, you can't be sexy when you're at like a nuclear war conference.
One of the first things that Jessica says to AJ in this whole book, she's trying to think of something to say, and something that would be like in character for this Jessica to say. Well, I'll read what the book says about it. Her mind raced as she desperately tried to think of what her twin would talk about. She drew a deep breath. Isn't it amazing how those same waves came all the way from Japan? Or is it China? Or, I mean, it makes you realize how close, but how far away. I mean, she let her words trail off, unsure of exactly what she was trying to say. In agony, she gave him a hopeful smile. He looked thoughtful. Yeah, I guess I know what you mean. I guess that means surfers are kind of like diplomats, right? So anyway, that's Jessica and AJ. That's like his best.
AJ had a good joke right there. That was a good joke.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like he stops making the jokes. I got a couple quick ones. I normally the readings are longer, but there are so many like one-liners in this book. Okay. There's a point where
to say that felt like Jessica being unable to say something intelligent and smart felt like me writing most days. Because I was like, oh, you're so close, you're there, I like it. Even though she's obviously pretending, but I was just like, but I was also totally be like AJ and be like, yeah, I get you.
I think her tongue-tiedness was definitely genuine.
Yeah.
So a little bit later, when she can't think of something to say, she's trying to look serious because she thinks that would be the part. And AJ says, "You're looking pretty serious." He was smiling at her in a way that made her heart race. She blushed. "Oh, I was thinking about nuclear war," she fibbed lamely. "You know, how terrible it would be if there were one and everything." And AJ's just like, "You're right." He's like, I'm picturing his face falling, and he's just like, "Oh my God, that would be terrible."
Not the kipper.
Later on, AJ runs into Elizabeth at school and mentions that he thinks that she's Jessica. He mistakes her for Jessica and says that they're going to save the whales. And Elizabeth thinks for Jessica to be concerned about environmental issues, any issues, was like a heavy metal band playing lullabies. They just didn't go together. I thought that was funny.
The writing in this is great.
Yeah, this is a pretty funny one.
Is it all Francine Pascal, the writer for all of them? Or is it sort of like Tom Clancy where there's like a bunch of people writing under that pseudonym? Or
yeah, it's more like that. Francine Pascal is the like mastermind, kind of like god of this universe. When she created she's the showrunner of the show that is Sweet Valley High series. Exactly. She knows and has had this big Bible. I mean, she's still with us, but when she was writing this book, had this big Bible of plots and characters and family relationships and storylines. But she was not the one that was literally writing the books.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Well, this is the perfect segue, actually, since we're talking about writing, to talk a little bit about Jessica's writing in this book.
Oh, man, that poem.
Oh, that poem, yeah.
I wanted to read, and you already did it at the very top, that first.
Well, I made a little reference to a poem that Jessica writes. She's trying to impress AJ. She actually at the library reads a couple poems aloud to him. Yeah. Do you remember what she reads?
She does like an Emily Dickinson and then a Walt Whitman, like "Oh Captain, My Captain."
Yeah.
She starts to read "Oh Captain, My Captain," and he's like, "Wow, that's heavy." And she's just like, "No, that's just the first stanza."
He's like, maybe next time when other people are waiting for us.
Like, yeah, I think I'd rather read it to myself. And she's all disappointed. Like, maybe I wish that he'd let me read the whole thing.
I just think she didn't read it well enough. That's what she thought. Like, oh man,
a famously lengthy poem. So you please, Andy. I think that the gladiators deserve to hear all of Jessica's poem.
Okay. Time is a grinding wheel of merciless pain. We are trapped in our lives until the hour of death. But love breaks our chains and lets us fly into the universe, where everything is real and alive forever.
Wow, that was heavy.
Is that picking up on Mike?
Yeah.
I'm clapping.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, who told Jessica? Who told Jessica that being serious means you have to be depressing?
Well, I don't know, but there's actually a point where toward the end of the book, because so repeatedly throughout this book, Elizabeth is trying to get Jessica to drop it. She's like, "This isn't working for you. AJ is not even really that interested in whatever you're doing. Like, stop it, drop the act." And Jessica repeatedly goes back to like, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. Like, I'm too far gone.
Oh yeah,
now.
that was the George Costanza in her. She's going all in. She's in the lie, deep in the lie. That can't come out now.
Yes, that's very true. I actually really like that analogy. So there's this moment. It's pretty far into the book, but I don't think it spoils anything to jump ahead here on page 111. Where finally, I guess I should also say that early on in the book, Elizabeth has promised Jessica that she won't say anything to AJ about how Jessica normally acts different, and immediately regrets the promise because she's like, well, now, like, I have abandoned any ability to salvage this issue myself. Like, I just have to count on Jessica to change, and that's never going to happen.
It's so refreshing how serious these kids take promises as opposed to the TV shows in life nowadays. Like, I really appreciated how torn up Elizabeth was, and I was like, break the promise!
Well, she gets an opportunity to break it.
She's like cringing her teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish she had in that moment. It would have been so easy. But instead, she doesn't. And she tries to just kind of talk to Jessica again. So she says, "Jess, please stop acting that way around AJ." "What way?" Jessica prompted, her cheeks warming. "You know, spineless, weak, like a complete airhead. You're going to lose him if you keep it up." Jessica swallowed hard. She met her twin's eyes and said, "I'm only acting the way you do." Which is a real burn.
That was the worst.
So terrible.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going because it gets there. A look of complete surprise crossed Elizabeth's face. Her mouth dropped open. What? Feeling both exasperated and embarrassed, Jessica rolled away from her sister onto her stomach. I don't know. Where are they? Are they on the beach? I guess she's in her room. Okay.
Yeah.
AJ likes all the kinds of things you do. You know, books, nature, taking a stand on issues. You haven't taken a stand on anything in weeks, Elizabeth retorted vehemently. Jessica kept her face down, and she could feel her cheeks burning. This whole thing is such a disaster, she moaned inwardly. Why can't I do anything right? And besides, is that how you think I am? The way you've been acting lately? Elizabeth's voice rose in pitch. I can't believe you think of me that way. You really think I'm such a wimp? I don't know. Tears sprang to Jessica's eyes and she sniffed, feeling miserable. Jessica, you can be nice without being a wimp, you know. I don't go around acting like a doormat. Elizabeth broke off and let out a frustrated sigh. Listen, Jess, I don't know why you think acting like me will make AJ like you better. He doesn't like me. You're the one he asked out. Only because he thought I was like you, Jessica insisted. And Elizabeth goes on and is like, well, is it working? And Jessica's like, it's not. And that's when she says it's too late to change. And we get this really interesting thought right after that you guys referenced earlier, one of you, about how Elizabeth does this feint of, she's writing in her journal and it's like, if I were Jessica, I would, pull some kind of crazy scheme to make her act the way that she used to. And then she's like, no, I can't do that. Like, that never works. Jessica's schemes always go badly, and Jessica's doing a terrible job at pretending to be me. I shouldn't pretend to be her either.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is true, but not usually the way these books typically go.
Yeah, no, it was just like way too smart. Like, it seemed like, oh, that's what you do. You're going to make the mistake times two. So they both are acting like, opposites and both being terrible at it. And everyone, then we can include, Elizabeth's boyfriend and how, what are you doing? This is you, and, all that fun stuff. And it backfires. But it was sort of like, we don't have enough time in this book. This fashion show is way too important.
But by book 49, you got to be learning.
Yeah.
You got to read the books before. So you know what.
Yeah, Elizabeth's gone through 48 books of journaling, she knows.
Like, she knew that when she does the scheming of Jessica, it never works out because she's not as good at the scheming in Jessica. Jessica's the schemer.
That's true. You guys make a good point. This book represents a rare moment of growth for our primary characters here.
Yeah, she's had this experience. She knows she's already tried being Jessica. So it didn't work. And so she knows from that experience, it's not going to work for her to be Elizabeth. It's just can't be. You have to be who you are.
Yeah. And she can't break the promise because, we're too early in the book.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting Jessica to behave like Jessica again, there are a couple of factors at play here that begin to bring the old Jessica back. And the first one we referenced already is the sudden appearance of Pamela Janson, a new character.
Wow.
What'd you guys think of her?
I was in love.
I could do the...
No!
She was great.
I would do that right now.
She did sound really sexy.
She sounded fun, and she's mean, terrifying a little bit. I enjoy it.
Terrifying. Until they made her terrible, like in the fashion show later.
She's awful in the end.
Yeah,
but she's awful.
Before that, I'm like, yeah, AJ, just go for it. Jessica doesn't deserve whatever you are, I guess.
Oh man,
wow.
I don't know. I felt like this was the part of the book where I was like, I got to put it down because I was even mad at AJ because throughout the whole deal, he has stated outright that he doesn't like girls that come on too strong. And the moment Pamela Janson appears, and she is coming on as strong as any woman ever could.
Yeah.
And with consent being a factor, right? And he is like, totally buying it. And the book even tries to suggest, or his inner monologue suggests, that maybe it's because he's been spending so much time with this wet blanket.
And I totally agree with that inner monologue, 100%. That's what it was, because he's so bored out of his mind by bird watching and doing nothing and just like going to classical concerts. Like I don't understand where she got this idea that it's the wrong twin. Like, he wanted the fun girl, and he's not having any fun.
Yeah, I actually have a passage about that I can read here. So we're finally getting a glimpse into AJ's inner monologue, and they're out walking around, taking another hike. They've been doing activities like every afternoon, and basically he even thinks to himself that he's going to stop mentioning things that he likes, because every time he mentions something, she immediately wants to do that, which, man, sucks to be you, right? But okay, it was
like one day, AJ.
It was so strange, he thought to himself, that Jessica had turned out to be so different than he expected. She was so serious and responsible that sometimes he felt that he couldn't really act like himself when she was around. He didn't think he could flirt with her or tease her at all in case she was offended. A lot of the time, she made him feel he should be raising money for cancer research or attending lectures on nuclear disarmament, and that feeling was hard to handle. Try living in 2020, AJ, let me tell you. Okay. And it wasn't that he didn't like girls who had more on their minds than clothes and gossip and partying. He really admired Jessica for being concerned about important issues, but she was so solemn and conscientious all the time that she was actually a bit boring. It was hard to believe when he looked at the beautiful, graceful girl jogging along beside him. But that was the truth. All she seemed to want to do was talk about depressing problems, or do homework, or some other virtuous thing. He was beginning to have second thoughts about going out with her. And that's when he spots a girl drowning in the distance and goes to rescue her.
When you have that inner monologue and then you just save it.
Right in time. There's a voluptuous brunette drowning. That never happens to me.
Screw it up, man.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, the way that Pamela Janson's character turns out, you almost wonder if she saw AJ with her binoculars and then decided to pretend to drown.
She did, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought that too, because it's just too convenient otherwise, and yeah.
And I knew AJ was gonna fall for it. I knew he has to, because he's new in town. He didn't want a real relationship. He didn't want to be stuck together. He just wanted to have some fun.
So Pamela Janson, guys, is she doesn't go to Sweet Valley High. She goes to Whitehead Academy, which is where, I don't know, that this school has come up before.
Is it their rival school?
The exact details. No, that's Big Mesa.
Okay.
So Whitehead Academy does have precedence, and do they show up later?
It's a private school.
Yeah. Okay, but
they'll come up from time to time. So it sort of sets her up as being kind of a snob and thinking that she's better than everybody else. But also very sexy. And he gives her towel, and she's flirting with him so hard. And Jessica wants to clap back at her, but feels that she can't because, again, of her wet blanket character that she's playing.
Yeah. Although it's sort of weird even in that scenario, because if it's real and you're taking it on, that she actually was drowning and AJ saved her life, it's sort of mean to, rip that person apart 2 seconds later. She almost died. So that was I think the one scene where I was like, yeah, that's maybe okay to play that off. Don't seem too jealous or whatever. But, at the same time.
But she's on guard. That's good. She knows what's up.
On guard. She had a lot of anxiety just packed into that
because she sees herself in Pamela. That's why.
Yeah, she does.
She knows.
Is her foil, is her maybe even a better version, a richer version.
Yeah, she has Pamela's number. She's thinking this is what I would do if I were Pamela. But it also makes her feel like there's no way that Pamela actually cares about AJ. She's just trying to have fun with him because he's a cute boy and that's the kind of girl she is. And I should know because that's the kind of girl I usually am. I don't mean me. That was being Jessica. Yeah. That's not the kind of girl that I usually am. But, so...
Do you think that Pamela Janson is the green-crested pot eater that Jessica was speaking?
So the green-crested pot eater is the bird that Jessica makes up when she pretends that she's interested in bird watching. And I got the sense that AJ knew this was a fake bird and was teasing her every time he brought it up. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is Pamela Janson after all.
I think so.
So the scene that Aaron referenced earlier happens when Pamela Janson calls AJ at home and tells him that, oh, oops, I forgot to return your towel to you, the towel that you wrapped around my shivering body after you saved me from drowning. And my parents really want to meet you to thank you for saving my life. So would you come over? I live 15 miles up the coast, and I'll give you your towel back.
Yeah, she said it was only...
Right?
I'm not going to say no.
You said only 15 miles up the coast. It'll take a few minutes. Like, that's a pretty long distance, but I mean,
yeah, I was thinking that too.
Towel. You can't let the towel go.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's making the drive in 10 minutes because he leaves Pamela Janson's house and he's already 20 minutes late to meet Jessica, but he ends up only being 30 minutes late to meet Jessica. So I guess
that's a math problem I don't understand.
Yeah. So there were a few chapters of this book where I was like, I really wish I could just read the whole thing. But this is a scene like that where it's just like every single thing Pamela says is just so delicious. So do you guys want to say anything about this scene before I read a little bit of it?
We can comment after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's read and then let's give the audience what they want to hear first.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, he shows up and asks where her parents are. And she says, actually, I don't know. They're out of town. In Denver, I think. So she doesn't know where her parents are. What? AJ spoke in a whisper, and he could feel the heat in his cheeks. Obviously, it was all a deliberate lie to get him there. And if there was one thing AJ hated, it was that kind of game playing. At least, he usually hated it. But at the moment, he had to admit it was pretty flattering, too. Half of him wanted to leave, and the other half wanted him to stay right where he was. So he asks if he can have something to drink, and she offers him a glass of wine. He says, so soda or juice?
Come on, AJ. Just go with it, man.
Aaron, this is a classic case of nervous penis, all right?
No, it's a classic case of, like, I can't hold it in anymore. That's what it is.
It's a scary scenario, no matter what. Like, you're a bad person if you have sex now, and you're not even a good person if you leave because Jessica sucks. Like, there's not a good scenario here for him. I mean,
you hook up and then you move back to Atlanta. You just get out.
Okay. Well, so lest the listeners think that you guys are overstating AJ's interest or Pamela's interest, allow me to go on just so we can really make it clear what a possibility this is. What exactly Pamela is presenting to AJ.
Presenting everything. Everything was on the table that night.
So, she gives him his drink, and it says he gulped thirstily as a way of putting off any more conversation. You get the same view from the greenhouse, she said huskily. She was standing so close he could feel the warmth of her body. That's where the hot tub is. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wanna relax in the tub while we wait for my parents? She just said we're in Denver? Okay. AJ's mind raced, and he looked rapidly around the room as though searching for an escape route. Well, I don't have a bathing suit with me, he faltered. With a soft, throaty chuckle, Pamela shook her head so her curls swished across her bare shoulders. That doesn't matter. So, yep. She tries for a couple more pages, and finally he hits the road.
Yeah, I'm a lesser man. I wouldn't have left. I can't. What are you gonna do?
I mean, I just think they would have bungled it because I would have turned into like all the neuroses, anxiety, all the different things would have happened. Because I mean, that scenario has never happened to me, and I'm 32, and will never happen to me. That's okay. But
yeah, all that would have happened to me too, but it would have happened in the jacuzzi. I'm gonna keep going. I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, this is nuts. It's happening. Oh, it's happening, AJ. It's happening.
You'll just black out and wake up in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Well, so AJ has been on the fence about this ever since she called, not just because of the general idea of Jessica, but because he is literally supposed to be with Jessica at this very moment. He was going to meet her at the library. And so
And
I believe when he does go to meet Jessica at the library, he even tells her that he was giving Pamela her towel back, and Jessica's like, that girl. Oh, but there's a whole other plot line we haven't even talked about yet. That's about to come to bear.
That was an insane honesty on his part when he went and said that. I thought he would lie. But I wanted to ask, so like in terms of the relationship of him and Jessica, are they? It sounds like they are dating, right? That is what they are. Like
yes,
like
yeah.
So it would be.
I would say they're not going steady, but they are definitely dating.
Okay, they're not going steady.
Yes.
They're not boyfriend girlfriend necessarily yet, or I don't know what the label.
Yeah, I feel like not necessarily yet.
So,
it's still kind of.
And they obviously have not consummated the relationship.
Although that may or may not happen later in the book. The book leaves it up to your imagination.
Yeah, it's what they did in that scene that you're talking about. But yeah, okay. I just want to know like what the gray area, like if he was cheating, if he went with Pamela. Not that that means it's okay. I just want to know.
I had a feeling that was what you were getting with, and I think that technically it would not have been cheating. He was just worried about hurting Jessica, much to his credit.
Yeah, it's still a dick. It's not cheating, but it's still a dick move. But what are you gonna do? It's a hot tub.
Literal dick.
Pamela Janson. You've heard rumors of Pamela Janson at this Whitehead Academy for years. You're gonna say no? She's like she's the Serena.
Just moved to town.
She's the Serena of Whitehead Academy.
He's the Serena without trying to change and be a better person. Yeah, no.
Well, she's still 16.
Serena's 16 for like 3 seasons. Oh man.
But the big event that's finally going to break Jessica out of her weird split personality thing is something that the book has been leading to for a while now, and her friends keep on encouraging her to be in this fashion show where Nadine, the fashion designer, has a line of clothing at Lizette's, and they're trying to come up with some kind of cover model that's going to win a bunch of clothes. It's all very convoluted, but Jessica should definitely sign up, and eventually she is convinced to do so by everybody in her life who's like, Jessica, it would be the least Jessica thing on earth for you not to do this. Like, who are you kidding? Like, AJ's not worth the possibility of missing out on these clothes.
Agreed.
Yeah, like a mall fashion show is just quintessential 80s. I loved it.
It's so good. And so she's with Alila and Kara at Lizette's to like sign up for the fashion show, and they have this really catty scene where Pamela happens to be there too, and Pamela pretends that she can't remember Jessica's name, calls her Jennifer, calls her Rebecca, and then finally overhears her signing up for the fashion show and decides that she's going to sign up too.
Hey, listen, Pamela knows what she wants. She's going after it, okay? And she's got to get Jessica out of the way. And now we are...
The Pamela Janson apologist here. Okay. This is a twist I didn't expect this episode to take.
Okay, yeah, I love Pamela. I'm a big Pamela fan. I love it. She's going after what she wants. She is a product of the 80s. I enjoyed her very much. Now...
Well, there's something nice about how unapologetically herself she is, and awful. But like, unlike Jessica and even Elizabeth, like there's that confidence, and she's just being who she is, and that she's not a nice person, but she's honest and genuinely awful. But like, yeah, I actually, that is a big breath of fresh air as opposed to Jessica and being in Jessica's head. And I was just like, God, it was really hard for me to be in Jessica's head for 100.
Yeah, I really felt, Pamela added just more drama to the story. Otherwise the other story was just waiting for Jade Wu to figure out if he's going to dance or not.
Well, I think that I would say that Jessica's inner turmoil is very like accurate of being a 16-year-old, but Pamela is so important to the story because it's like Pamela has the kind of like magical power to bring Jessica back to herself. And it's so interesting to watch Jessica's friends kind of try to come up with ways to trick Jessica into returning to her old self and fail, and ultimately realize that all they have to do is kind of sit back and let Pamela challenge Jessica, and that challenge will be enough to bring Jessica back to herself. And they're right.
It's waking a sleeping giant. That's what Pamela did. She didn't know what she was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, she didn't. So I mean, Jessica wasn't a wet blanket, so she thought she had it easy.
Yeah, Pamela even calls. So Pamela has invited AJ to to a dance at Whitehead Academy, and he said that he'll have to think about it. And she calls him later and asks him flat out,
yeah, are you taking me? I told all my friends.
Yeah, and when he hesitates, she says, "You're not still going out with that dish rag, are you?"
It's like, whoa, it was rough. You know?
Yeah.
But AJ, he actually defended a little bit, kind of.
Yeah, and then she says, oh no, I'm so awful. I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry. Forget it. Now I really feel like a witch. And AJ says, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And then it says, in the back of AJ's mind, he realized he was apologizing to Pamela because she had insulted Jessica. That triggered a skeptical reaction, but he shook it off impatiently. So, just like Aaron would have.
He just agreed with her, I think. That's the thing. You know, Pamela wasn't wrong when she called her Jessica a dick.
Yeah. So he felt guilty because he was like, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's my
but
dish
this
rag.
Fashion show.
She's my dish rag, yeah.
She's my dish rag, yeah. That's romantic. So the fashion show is quite something, huh? They've got like several outfit changes, and the whole town is there to watch these teenagers walk down the runway.
Well, except for like their parents, right? Because they don't give a shit.
That's true.
Well, they're working. You know, one's an interior designer.
Yeah, they work full-time job.
That's true.
Yeah.
What does the dad do?
He's a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they never see these kids.
You could be practicing law on Saturday, for sure.
Yeah. They grew up watching television.
Ned Wakefield is definitely practicing law on a Saturday.
That's what Gil does?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Or is he having an affair? Is that a different book?
Well, actually, he is never actually having an affair, but there is a book where they think he's having an affair.
Ooh.
With Mariana West. Look, Gladiators, I remembered her name. It came back to me. Thank you, brain.
How many books are there?
Mariana West. How many books are there? Well, we've read 49 of them, plus some super specials. In total, there's something like 137. That might just be a number that I'm saying because that is a number that Jessica often says when she's exaggerating. Okay. Like, oh my God, there must be like 137 books. But no, there are something like that.
That's actually perfect if that's how they ended it.
Yeah.
And that's what she said a lot. It's so weird.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I was going to say, why aren't they reviving this series? Or is that that's your goal?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
brilliant goal. I applaud your effort. Or I want to help. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Well, I feel like you are well situated to do that as an expert in teen drama, which we will talk more about in the extra drama episode.
Ooh.
How do you like that for a tease?
Ooh, wow, look at that tease. You're killing it.
It's like the jacuzzi.
Okay.
Do you write for the Oracle?
Oh, if only. If only. I am such an Elizabeth, so... What happens is, what Pamela does is she sabotages all of Jessica's outfits. And it's amazing. Jessica just, like, rolls with it. She's so, like, she's got to show that Pamela that she is better than her. And so everything that Pamela does to kind of try to ruin one of the outfits, Jessica just rolls with it. So there's some weird thing about, like, some denim dress that doesn't zip up the side, and Jessica puts a belt around it, and there's, like, holes in the side of the dress, but it looks hot when Jessica wears it. Were you guys following any of that?
Oh, no, I got it all, yeah. And then she throws the water on her, and she still looks hot, yeah. Jessica's hot. Jessica's gonna win.
Yeah.
Jessica's on the cover of the book. And
we needed that. That'd be great. It, like, rips on the front, like Pamela trying to rip through the cover.
I just got a vision of that. It was really exciting.
Great.
So
I think it was so cool because, like, because I mean, Aaron and I have never seen Jessica actually be good, right? Or, like, you know, the awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, this was such a, like, hero moment, and it was. I was very, like, impressed, and I'm like, oh my God, she's a supermodel, this woman, and, like, improv. She needs to get into acting. I mean, that's what she does too. But, like,
yeah,
I was just very impressed with our girl.
No, she's amazing. And then finally, she starts having this basically telling Pamela off backstage, and Kara and Lila very cleverly like start to kind of pull the curtain open so that everybody can hear this fight, and they can hear Jessica say to Pamela, "You deliberately ruined every one of my dresses. You jammed the zippers, ripped the hems, and poured water on me. I wasn't going to tell anybody because I didn't want to stoop to your level. And besides, I can look good in anything, Pamela Janson.
Boom.
Thanks for helping me prove it."
Great line.
And she says, like, "I hope everyone hears about this, Pamela, because when they do, you're going to get into so much trouble you won't even know it hit you. And thanks for doing me a favor. Now I know I've been acting like a pushover, but forget it. You can't push me around, Jansen, so don't even try."
Jessica talks like she has a wire on, even though, like she doesn't even know. It's just perfect how you can say everything like that.
No, she's Jessica. Everybody is listening to her all the time. She knows it.
That's
Yeah, that's about right. Everybody cheers for her. Everybody, like, even AJ, who is just flabbergasted, but really excited that this is his girlfriend now.
Yeah, he made like a really nice investment. You know, it was like the stock market. Like the stock was really down, and he was gonna jump ship. You know, he heard like a really sexy spot, the PJ.
There was a good IPO coming in, and he's just like, "Do I go for it or not?
Do I put all my money on the Pamela, or do I keep my thing with the rice and beans? It's boring."
He couldn't, but you can't. Sometimes you can't afford the margin call, and it pays off.
I think I'm sure the listeners are loving this metaphor. I think this might be the first time we've ever talked about the stock market on Sweet Valley Diaries, even metaphorically.
Well, obviously, AJ is going to be a stockbroker in the future. That's what.
That makes sense. That sounds right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so I don't know if AJ is going to pay dividends to Jessica in the same way.
Ooh.
But it remains to be seen. But in the short term, one thing that is kind of interesting about this book is that he hasn't really like gotten a lot of action, poor AJ, from Jessica, which is not normal. Jessica normally there's usually a lot of kissing in these books. And instead of a lot of kissing, it seems like every time, there's one time where Jessica like jerks her hand away from AJ's hand. Like she's just so nervous around him.
Yeah, on the rock. And it's just like,
yeah.
I didn't understand. Like Jessica, like who told Jessica this is what 6-year-old boys want? Like what happened in the last book where she was all kissy and flirty and having a good time, and then she comes and like stops, and AJ's like, "What happened?
No,
where'd it go?"
What you gotta understand is Jessica knows better than almost anybody what 16-year-old boys like. It's that she's got this fake idea in her head about what AJ specifically likes. And the person who is primarily responsible for that, other than Jessica, who's made some shit up in her own mind, is actually AJ, who has told her that he likes... Let me actually... You know what? I have book 48 right beside me. This is unprecedented, you guys. I'm going to open book 48, and I'm going to tell you that what AJ says to her is...
I like bird watching.
Well, while you're looking, I'll just say that I feel like Jessica she forgot everything because I think she's sort of method, right? I think she's so deep in this character.
Deep. She is deep in.
Well, because like it doesn't make any sense, like you said, Aaron, because like her whole point is to get him to kiss her and to like her, right? And when he's about to do that, she freaks out and flips out, and it's like, wait, wasn't that your plan? Isn't that what that's the end game? I thought. But yeah, she's just so not herself, and she doesn't know which way is up anymore.
Jessica was just going through a roller coaster of emotions in this book.
She was.
So what he says to her is, "I like girls who are a little bit on the shy side. It may be old-fashioned of me, but I like to be the one who chases the girl, not the other way around. You're the kind of girl who really likes to listen to a guy. You're not aggressive. You're sweet, gentle, the sort of girl I can completely trust. So that's why I think you and I should get to know each other better, Jessica. And I mean it." So that's AJ at the end of book 48. He doesn't say anything about nuclear war or bird watching or hiking or nuclear disarmament or saving whales.
Classical music. You know I don't know any contemporary music.
Yeah. Jessica pretends not to know any modern music for some reason. But now we've got the real Jessica back and AJ is into her. And where do you think they go, gladiators? They go to Miller's Point. It's a surprise.
Yeah, that's where he's wanted to go the whole time.
Yeah, well, he takes them up there and says, This is Miller's Point. A lot of people come up here at night to see the lights from town. AJ was looking at her subtly in the darkness. Oh yeah, he drawled. He moved closer to her and put one arm along the back of her seat. Lights, huh? And then eventually they kiss, and finally Jessica sat back and gave AJ a lazy smile. We should have come here a long time ago, she said in a low, throaty voice. He chuckled softly and nodded. If you'd kissed me like that before, we could have been doing something else besides watching birds for the past couple of weeks. Jessica laughed and put her arms around his neck. Well, there aren't any birds here now, she whispered. Let's not waste any more time. So, draw your own conclusions from there.
I think Pamela...
Finally, AJ, finally.
I think Pamela's there watching. She's not going to give up that.
She's like hiding in the bushes.
Yeah, exactly. She AJ watches.
God.
Well, you guys, we made it through the book. That's the story. But normally here on Sweet Valley Diaries, after we talk about the book, I ask my guests if they think they are a Jessica or an Elizabeth. Now, this is sort of challenging in this book, as this is sometimes the case, but do you guys have an impression? Or some other character that you want to claim?
I think I'm probably closer to Elizabeth than Jessica, but I don't think I prescribe to the black and white where I'm one of either of those. I feel like they mentioned that Winston Edgar, he was making jokes all the time. He talked about being a comedian. That might be an Aaron person or a me person. I don't know, but I was too shy. So I think I was, especially in high school, I was definitely an Elizabeth. But I also didn't care about people in the way, or like things. Yeah. So I was probably Jade Wu, like the person that's going to be the sequel that people might know about, but like they never wrote that.
This book is the first reference we've ever heard of Jade Wu in the entire series.
Oh, wow.
So Gladiators, you may have no idea who Jade Wu is, but you'll know next time.
Is it a big move to have someone Chinese in these books, someone who's not just a white dude?
Actually, yeah. I mean, like, kind of sadly, yeah, but that is sort of part of what this podcast tries to be about, is the kind of, what's the word, hegemony of the sort of beautiful straight white people in these books. And whenever someone that is different comes along, it's like a fine line. It's like, are we excited to see somebody different, or how are they being treated? Like, let's be careful now talking about it. So it's a...
I hope they treat Jade with the respect that she deserves. But Aaron, did you?
Yeah.
Who are you? I mean, I feel like.
Who am I? Well, I'm definitely not Elizabeth. I'm definitely not going to. Yeah, I really like when they spoke of Jessica and her minimal effort on the weekends. I really related to that.
That's the whole week, right?
So I related to Jessica in the sense of, she likes to enjoy the finer things in life and just enjoy life itself, and not, she's not this person that we read about,
That's true. Yeah.
And that's what the lesson is here, be yourself, kids.
Yeah, don't change.
It really is.
For anyone, least of all a boy.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say one thing. The moment I saw dairy spelled with an I just bothered me.
I thought you were going to say you were in.
Just like, who did that? That would bother me. I would be the guy in the book who would go up to the manager, like, who spelled it that way? That's my character.
Mm-hmm. Painting a Y on the sign.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron did it again. That was very Peach Pit, right? The dairy burger.
Yeah, that was the good hangout,
Yeah, I really wish I could hang out and eat every day at a burger joint and not be dead. Like these people, these kids.
Yeah. If you could still be a size 6, that would be great. I
had one other thought on like the who I might be. Like, I was the end of this. I wanted to bring it up because I was just like, I wish I had friends like Amy and Lila who are just. I mean, they exist serve like just to serve the main character, But like that was at the beginning. But then like they still are that, but they were just so concerned about Jessica being herself and wanting to awaken her and bring her back. And they were so like on her side throughout. And I was just like, oh my God, like these.
Because they were bored too. They were bored out of their minds.
They were bored. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's colored by the fact that
they had nothing to do. They're the minions, and they had nothing to do in this episode.
Right, but like they didn't take the throne. Although it seemed like I think Lila was the one who has a little bit more spice and maybe has challenged Jessica in that way sometimes.
And I think if you want that now, Andrew, at this age, they're called assistants.
That I think that I am sometimes those people for other people. Like I think way too much about other people. I'm not as effective as these people, as Amy and Lila, who can just, scheme and make Jessica like blossom. But I feel like I do spend an inordinate amount of time like worrying about people. So and that and just myself also. So I'm sort of self-absorbed / the opposite at the same time. That's my split personality.
Ooh, bringing it all full circle.
Yeah. Oh, and my last note was there's so much soda drinking in this book that it made me freak out. Like,
yeah.
So much.
Well, yeah, they're not going to drink.
Remember,
can't drink wine because
Well, yeah. Wine or juice, but like, it's just like no one drinks water in
That's true. There's very rarely. No, someone takes this. No, the girls are drinking ice water backstage, and then they throw it on Jessica.
Yeah, there you go.
They offer.
They use the water as a weapon. There you go.
Yeah.
This is why Sweet Valley is in a drought.
So true. Would you fellows care to tease book 50 for our listeners?
He's so Chinese.
Okay. You can just read.
That was the last line of the book, and I'm like, that's how we're going to end this? That's really...
So do you... Yeah, I know it is a bit of a bomb there.
I'll read the second line after that. You do the first one.
Will Jade Wu win the leading dance role in the variety show?
Find out in Sweet Valley High number 50. Out of reach.
Ooh...
Nothing's out of reach, Jade Wu. You got it.
I think she's going to do it. She has to do it. And that, and she's going to show her father who she is.
An American.
Yeah, this isn't the old country.
These are all lines from the last page of the book, you guys. Aaron and Andy, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything that you would care to plug, as they say in the biz?
Andy, do we have a podcast?
I think it still exists. Yeah, we're still live. We are on Gossip Guys Pod. We talk about Gossip Girl. Aaron, where can the people find more information about such a pod?
They can find us at Gossip Guys Pod at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can email us at gossipguyspod@gmail.com. And you can find me. I've got some tweets and some jokes on the Instagram, and that's the worst. That's the WRSST. And I've also got another podcast out called A Meal and a Movie with Aaron. Find that now on iTunes.
Awesome.
And I'm at Wandering Greene with an E at the end on Twitter and Instagram.
Excellent. Well, I'll put links in the show notes to all that stuff. I imagine there are a number of gladiators that are also Gossip Girl fans, so that'll be a treat for them. And if you want to hear me on Andy and Aaron's podcast, I did an episode where we talked about a movie called Eloise, which stars Chase Crawford.
Classic movie.
Of Gossip Girl. So that was really special time.
Yeah, well,
that just happened earlier this year.
We've exhausted the Gossip Girl. Like, we've seen every episode of the show. We've talked about every episode of the show. So now we are going and watching every notable, and Eloise we decided was notable, movie or TV show from the main cast. And actually, Eloise was Marissa's idea. She chose that one, if I remember correctly.
That is a great choice. Classic Eliza Dushku.
Thank you. At the time, I was under the impression that you guys were doing entire filmography, so I didn't realize what a weird cut it was.
No,
that was a great deep cut. It was perfect it was a good start to the chasing.
The thing is, any Chase Crawford movie is a deep cut. And so no, it was sort of
for
like
his career.
We were going to do the first 4 basically, and then we were like, that's enough. And that was on the radar for sure. It wasn't like you went further. There wasn't much else. Chase is great on The Boys. Sorry, Chase, if you're listening, we love you.
Sup, Chase?
Chase is great on The Boys. What a character. All right. Well, as you may know, Sweet Valley Diaries is this podcast, and we're on Twitter at Sweet Valley and on Instagram at Sweet Valley Diaries. Thank you, Estonian listeners, for making this podcast big in Estonia. And you can email me at sweetvalleydiaries@me.com for some reason. Or you don't forget that there's a blog, sweetvalleydiaries.net, where I have written since 2006 about these stupid books.
And there's a message board I can ask questions and stuff?
I mean, you can leave a comment, man. I'll have to approve it, but you can go for it. Let's make blog comments a forum again. How about that? You guys just start commenting on the posts for these episodes. And anyway, and join us next week when we'll talk a little bit more about Gossip Girl and Sweet Valley High, specifically Playing for Keeps. Until then, goodbye. Okay, so are you guys ready? Do you have any questions for me?
No. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are pros. You know how podcasting works. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Okay. All right.
Fair enough.